No marriage is smooth sailing. Differences and boundaries need resolving, and in discussing issues, some can get more heated than others. Finances, discipline, household management and in-laws, the list can go on. But what boundaries do you and your partner set when it comes to fighting in front of your kids? Parent.com tackled this topic in a recent article, and they talk about the disadvantages and advantages of arguing in front of your darling cherubs. Now, how do you discuss things with your husband? Because I know in the article it said even from a really young age at 6 months, kids can really pick up on that tension. So how do you sort of discuss things with your husband?
I think as we've had Jax, it's become more tense. I think before there were less arguments, there were less things that we had to argue and fight about. I think now, like, things can get tense and heated quickly because I think we're playing off of past experiences. So if someone reacted negatively to something before, now you react even quicker to it now
and you bring part of that back into the next
you bring
argument.
3 arguments ago into the future argument, into the present argument. So I would say that we definitely don't have it worked out. We don't have this perfect system of discussing things in front of Jax or at all, And I think it's because of unresolved things that happened in an earlier discussion that we need to resolve and not bring it into something in the future. I don't know. I don't have all the answers is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no one does. We don't want them if they do. No. But how do you feel like doing it in front of the kids? Do you sort of do your discussing or your arguing? I mean, does it even get to a fight? Do you do that in front of the kids or do you make a concerted effort to make sure that they're not part of that?
I'm not good at arguing at all. I think my introverted personality comes out, and as soon as it gets to a certain level of emotion, I check out, which is probably not good. And it's what's wrong? Nothing. What's wrong? Nothing.
So you shut down.
Yeah, it's not good. So
I bottle it up and
I do. It takes me a long time to get really upset, and when I do, then I really hang on to it, which is not good. So I've noticed my friends who get there quickly, but they go quickly.
And they get over it.
They get over it quickly.
I'm a lot like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll get there very quickly.
Yeah.
But after a few days, because there are sometimes things don't get resolved straight away. And after a few days, I'm like, I'm so exhausted by this, I'm done. And I move on, and I sort of get over it.
Move on.
I don't move on either.
I hold on to it.
What I've tried to do this time is I think if it's still upsetting me the next day, then I'll talk about it because 9 times out of 10 by the next day I'm going, I don't care about this anymore. But if it's still worrying me a couple of days later, then I'll go, we need to talk.
Yeah.
The words that every husband hates. We need to talk. And that's probably only happened 3 or 4 times in the last 5 years. But that's what I try and do now. Yeah.
What's your approach?
Well, look, we try and not argue with them because I can get quite heated. Experience has told me that I can get quite heated. And it's actually got to the point where, like, for example, sometimes the girls will say to their dad, you need to say sorry to mum.
Oh, really?
You need to hug mum. So they know that's something that I tell them, when you're arguing with your siblings or your cousins, say sorry. So then when they see us arguing and don't touch me, one of the girls will be like, Dad, you need to hug mum or you need to say sorry. And I'm like, don't touch me. Don't touch me, But I mean, we're working on it. Like Rach, it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting better. If you pray about what you're arguing, as long as you're not arguing about the same thing.
What I found really interesting is if you read down the article and then you read people's comments, that was really interesting because everyone was happy to voice their opinion. One lady said that she said her parents never argued in front of her when she was a kid, and when she grew up and had a relationship, they would have conflict and then she'd freeze. She wouldn't know what to say. She didn't sort of have any example to learn from or play off there. So
I think there's
got to be value in it.
Well, my parents didn't argue in front of me, but my parents are divorced. And I'm not saying that there's a correlation, but I do think that you do need to be able to understand how to have a healthy disagreement with someone and still resolve it and know that you're going to love each other after the situation's
But
over.
I think you argue according to your personality. If you're someone who's really out there and explosive, you're going to want to argue that way. If you're someone who's quieter and you have to deal with it
I
in your
think
own
that's
way.
a really good point. You've sort of got to bring yourself into it. Well, I was going to say, look, as long as our kids are watching that, the way we're fighting, we can end it well and we can resolve it and love each other. I think that's a really healthy way for kids to see it happen, I hope.